Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, and today you're joining us for our final installment on how Voltron changed animation forever.
Yes, while we cover Voltron, a Studio Mirror podcast, and a series finale, we still gotta cover another thing about the show that made it amazing, and this is the conclusion of our Voltron series.
And here's why Paws On Animation still feels it's one of the greatest reboots of all time. So, in this installment, we're discussing the voice actors and making history, which Voltron absolutely positively did, regardless of your feelings for any part of this show. It made history.
Yes, and I think that every writer, director, producer, everybody who worked on it did an excellent job of pretty much giving life to this reboot. It didn't go halfway with some reboots where they don't really try. And they did so much for his characters, story, environments, every form that they could possibly do. They went far beyond just being fans of the original 80s Voltron. They did something incredibly spectacular with it.
So we just briefly here want to touch on each voice actor who contributed to this monumental series. And without any one of them, it never would have been the same, ever. So this was a match made in heaven.
Yeah.
Of course, we're going to start off with my favorite, Shiro, Josh Keaton, who has a long-standing history of being fantastic as a voice actor in animation, in video games, and just being this great, outstanding guy, family man.
Not the show Family Guy.
Not just a space dad, but a real life dad.
Yes, and he enjoyed his role very much, as we've seen on Twitter and YouTube, where he promoted Shiro so much on there. It's your space dad.
And so as Takashi Shirogane, he elevated this character into the stratosphere of being popular even far beyond Sven, the original incarnation. He gave this character depth, intelligence, and the way he delivered lines, the feelings and emotions came through that were just incredible for an actor getting these things across and making them real for you. And he also helped to make this character so real, someone that you could empathize with what was happening, who you supported, who you cheered on through all the crap that was going on, who you saw as a leader, who you respected, even though this is not a real character. You respect this character, and you love Shiro. I'm sorry, I don't care the show's gone. This is still one of my favorite characters ever. And thank you, Josh Keaton, for just making him just wonderful, dynamic, and just an excellent character that any person across all lines could be proud to say, this is my favorite character.
Right.
Okay, second one we're going to go into is Steven Yeun as Keith, who I also love. And this character really gave him just an outpouring of roles in other shows. We originally know him as Avatar Wan.
Yes, from The Legend of Korra, and he has a live action. He had a live action role on The Walking Dead. As I think his name is Glenn, right?
Yes. Also was my favorite character. But in here, he took this character Keith that was a good guy and really didn't have any character development originally, and made him, again, someone you could relate to, empathize, made him personable. Even though he was emo, you still love this character. And he brought across, emotions as well in his portrayal, and made you really love this character. And you were waiting for this character to get the respect you knew he deserved.
Right, and all the and the background and the history, the origins, everything.
Really happy that his mom came back, and you just loved how, at least I did, I loved how Steven Yeun made his interacting with the other voice actors, like the one who played his mom, with Josh Keaton and the other characters, and it made them real conversations and made them something you really wanted to listen to and appreciate as they were written to be. So he's just an outstanding actor and voice actor, and can't wait to see him in more live action. And everything he's in animated, we watch.
Right, pretty much now.
Yeah, you
like the star.
Yes. So thank you so much for making Keith this wonderful, beloved character.
Mm-hmm.
He's absolutely beloved, and one of the 2 highest shipped characters on the show.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, this character was really relatable, and Stephen Yeun and his performance and his interpretation of the character is what made it all happen for us. So thank you.
Right. And then you also had Jeremy Shada as
Lancy Lance.
Right. And Jeremy Shada was actually known before Voltron. He was on Adventure Time as Finn the Human.
He took the role after his older brother did it for 1 year.
Right. And he became the voice of him from then on to the end of the series. So he had another landmark role of playing Lance, who would become an incredibly popular character we have seen with fans at conventions and fan art and tributes to Lance. He really has gained a giant fan base along with the other characters.
And this is one of 2 characters of the show that you could tell the actor really put their own personality into the character. And he looked like Jeremy Shada. And just the fun, lovableness of this character interwoven with his intelligence, because Lance is intelligent. Not just a sharpshooter, but he's intelligent. He is he's sensitive, and yeah, he was a goofball, but there was just so much more to him that Jeremy Shada brought.
Exactly.
And the personality of Jeremy Shada and how he chose to interpret the character is, again, what made you love Lancy Lance.
Right.
And made him a character that in the end,
he pretty much got what he was pretty much striving for when the series began, wanted to be with his family. Now, I know there were people that thought that a little more would be done with him because we saw how the other characters ended after the show was over. I kind of thought it was a fitting ending. I just thought there would be a little something extra. He got to be with his family again on the farm and the life he had missed so much. So I found that as a fitting conclusion, just a little bit extra with it.
And also, this character is the one who grew the most in terms of developing relationships with every character that was on that show.
Right.
And again, it's a testament to Jeremy. I'm just going to say Jeremy. Jeremy's vocal acting ability to bring and make these conversations and feelings alive, that you could see the growth in the character with every single person on in the castle. Every one of the paladins, with Allura, with Koran, and just you brought life to the character and a talent that no other actor could have done. So thank you, Jeremy. No more tongue twisters for me. We love you, and again, we'll support anything that you're in always.
Right.
Lancy Lance is what you'll always be.
Right. And then you had Bex Tara Claus as Pidge, or her name's Katie, whichever you want to go with. And
this was the character you could see that they had taken most of her character from one version, and that was the Voltron Force.
Yeah.
And created this one. And the turn of turning him to her was brilliantly done, perfectly done.
Right, because we were a little confused at first. And found out, oh wait, so this was Pidge before, and the '80s one, and then the Hobgoblin, and then you got to the second one where they improved a bit, where it looked like an actual character, and he actually was a genius.
Yes.
And then in here, now it's pretty much child prodigy and just incredibly genius. And then finding out he was a girl and was able to trick everybody, including fans, until the reveal. Like, they said, wait, you're a girl?
And what Bex brought to this character, again, was something that only she could have done. She made Pidge lovable, but you respected her. You were proud of her accomplishments. Every time she would exceed expectations, you were happy. When she found Matt, we were crying right along with her. When she thought she lost Matt, we were crying with her. And she brought such an emotional element to this character without that character being one that you would go, oh gosh, would you please just stop? It wasn't like that. Her emotion was perfect in the way that she chose to represent it with her. And especially with her learning with the Alkari, that's one of her greatest episodes, besides the one where she goes and looks for her brother and find him. She just made this character again, another lovable character you respect,
Mm-hmm.
and you took this girl that I think was 13 originally.
Yeah, I think
when the
so.
series
13.
started,
Yeah.
and you made her have this fan base where she's respected. So Bex, thank you so much for just making this character come alive and making us love her. It was all you, the writing and your performance. So thank you so much. And as for everyone else, we will support you in anything and everything that you do.
Right. And we also saw an Arrow in one of the earlier seasons. You were like, wait a minute, that was her!
And we're sorry. We know you like to refer to as they. We forgot to do it.
Yeah.
So please forgive us.
Yes. And we had Tyra Labine as Hunk.
Who we now call Dr. Hunk with his role on New Amsterdam.
Yes. Yes. And as you know, Hunk is my favorite character of the group.
Yes.
And just I really like how they had the character in here, like you said, with the voice actor really matched perfectly with the character.
Absolutely perfect.
And the way they had the character this time around, people probably were expecting just to be the big guy jokes the entire time, which they almost did at first. They just made fun of, yeah, he was bigger than everyone, but just in like height or something. And yes, he likes to eat. But as you could see, as the show went on and went away, he turned out to be a really talented cook. So it wasn't just he liked to eat. He knew how to cook, no matter what ingredients from other planets. He turned out to be just as intelligent as Pidge, even though that wasn't like something he was into. He still was on a big intellect level. And he was very, very caring. And it is really awesome that they really did not go for a stereotype or a cliche with him. And they really went all out into making him stand out along with these other characters.
Now, for me, I see Tyler being brought to this character a multifacetedness, that you got all those elements. You got, as you said, the intelligence. You got the love to cook. You got the guy who liked to joke. You got the guy who loved his family. You got the guy that was the mama's boy and proud of it. You got the guy that stuck in and was loyal. You got the guy that you saw grow. And you got the guy who got Keith to break down and talk to him about his feelings.
Stop talking about your feelings.
Yes, but the way in which he did it, it was just wonderful. He made this character again real, where you loved Hunk.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine anyone else voicing this character or bringing that multifacetedness to him. So Tyler Bean, thank you. We watch you every week on New Amsterdam. We love you. We've seen you in other movies where Rascal didn't know whom you were, but as soon as I heard your voice, I said, that's Hunk! And then you go, darn it, how do you know? But we love you, and we will support you in everything that you do.
Yes. And then we have Kimberly Brooks, who is a well-known voice actor on Steven Universe's voice of Jasper and many other shows, as Allura, the Princess of what?
And she brought an elegance and regalness to this character, and she had her grow again from a character that you kind of thought was stuffy and uppity, and brought her down to this character that you could relate to, that you love, that you could feel her pain and her emotions. You could feel her joys with her. You love seeing her grow as a paladin, as a princess, and her making the final sacrifice for mankind, and seeing her grow to this level, and seeing her relationship with her dad. Kimberly Brooks brought all of this into reality. She made Allura a wonderful character, a beautiful character,
and great
character
lines
that I'm so happy to say now I love, that I wasn't too crazy about in the beginning, but who I absolutely love and adore by the end of this series. And yes, she is a voice acting dynamo, and we have heard her in so many things.
Yes.
And we know that after Voltron, she will continue to do this, and she also made animation history with this character, as we know the character changed from the original, and she also did this wonderful accent in how she, I guess, I don't know if she interpreted the character or they asked her to do it, but whatever, however it ended up being this way, she made this character beautiful and wonderful and brilliant and strong and powerful and just a woman we can all be proud of.
Yeah.
So thank you, Kimberly Brooks. We supported you before Voltron Legendary Defender. Like Josh Keaton, we will continue to support you in everything you do. Yes. We love you. You're beautiful.
Yes. And of course, you have Rhys Darby as Corinne, the gorgeous man.
Yes, who doesn't get enough love.
From
How
anybody.
in the heck could you not give this character his own Funko? Rhys Darby was brilliant and terrific, and we adore Corinne. He's the castle's father figure. He's goofy and fun, but highly intelligent and brilliant and lovable and loyal to Allura. And Rhys Darby made all of this come through for this character. We've seen him in live action roles. We've heard him in many other roles. And his voice is so distinct. As soon as you hear him, even when he's trying to not be the voice you normally know, you still know that it's Rhys Darby.
Right.
And he's that brilliant. And we love him. And thank you for making Corinne this lovable character. I think the first Corinne, being so different, opposite poles, he was more of
he was very strict,
right? And he had a family, and he had a different relationship with Allura than your Corinne did. And your Corinne, you made us love for different reasons, and you made this character just be someone that you wish you really knew, that he really was a part of your own family. And only you could have brought this to that character. So Rhys Darby, thank you so much. And we loved it when your kids appeared, when you went through the time shift.
Yeah, and you're going
getting younger and younger. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
I thought that was brilliant.
Yes.
So
like control panel.
Again, we love you in everything we see you in and hear you in, and just keep being the brilliant, wonderful voice actor that you are.
Yes.
And we will support you in everything.
Exactly. Now we got to mention lastly the three antagonists throughout the series who
brilliant antagonists.
Yes, and became, of course, popular villains and characters in their own rights, including their voice actors. Starting with Neil Kaplan as Emperor Zarkon.
Since we are saying about how the voice actors made history, then we definitely have to mention these three. Neil Kaplan was brilliant as Zarkon. He had no semblance whatsoever to the original Zarkon in any incarnation. Thank God for that. And he made us just respect the way this character was portrayed. You didn't like him.
Right.
He was a villain through and through. But the way in which he did it, he made the character's portrayal regal, made him a valid threat. You could see the dimension in him being just normal, a normal ruler, and a paladin with a good heart before he was infected. And he took you all the way to when he became this vile, horrible monster. And then he took you back again to him being that paladin full of love and caring for people.
Right.
And he did it in a way where it was real and genuine. And I don't see anyone else could have done that for the character. So Neil Kaplan, thank you so much.
Yes, because it was brilliant on how we saw the origins of Zarkon and the original Paladins and how they brought them back again. That's one of the biggest highlights of the final season.
And we have seen the element in your portrayal of this character just pop up in almost every animated series now that has a villain like that.
Yeah, there's a Zarkon everywhere now.
Absolutely.
And then you had, of course, the Queen, Cree Summer as Hagar/Honorva.
Oh my god.
Great. She was fantastic doing the role, no matter how she did it when you saw, like this at the backstory, or how she is now, and then her regressing. All of that was just incredibly flawless.
And voicing it in different ways. She voiced them to make them different. The emotion came through. Everything that character was supposed to embody, entail, display, Cree Summer did it brilliantly. And her Hagar, you knew she was a villain, and you were not supposed to like Hagar, but Hagar was a badass the way that Cree Summer voiced her and interpreted her. She was brilliant. Minerva, you could see where Hagar started with the brilliance and how she, again, like Zarkon, she was this person, and then you saw her as Hagar, and you saw her in the end regretting what she did, and Cree Summer just did that performance brilliantly. We have supported you forever. I've supported you since Different World, always will. You are beautiful and wonderful. We love you. And keep being the awesome voice actor you are and making us just adore and love your characters.
Right.
Only you could take a character like Hagar and make people want to see more of her and respect her, and by the end relate to her experience.
Right.
Thank you.
And lastly, but not least, you have AJ Lacasio,
the only Lotor that exists in any universe.
Right? who many people have said is like almost their own version of Loki, because there's a couple similarities. I guess you could term like maybe in personality or something.
Well, here's the thing with AJ Lacasio. He took a character that was just nothing like he is now, and we'll leave it at that, to not insult the original portrayal, because without those portrayals we wouldn't have him. But he made this character his own, and the way the character was drawn, the way the character was written, the way he voiced and just made this character alive, and had you wanting a redemption arc for a villain. I've never wanted a redemption arc for any villain ever as much as I wanted for Lotor in Voltron Legendary Defender. We didn't get it. He didn't get it. I wish he had. We feel the character deserved it, and AJ Lacasio could have done that vocal performance just as well. But you brought this height, this quality, this elegance, this world-class performance to this character that was vile in every other incarnation.
Right.
You just didn't like
it's
him.
like, ah!
But we ended up loving Lotor. You're not supposed to love Lotor.
Right. Like, what?
But we ended up loving Lotor, Prince Lotor. And even when we found out what happened, as I said, you wanted a redemption arc. And only you could have done that. We know your vast and illustrious career as a voice actor for lots of younger children's shows. And now you've got this vehicle here that, despite all the stuff that's being said by people who have a right to their opinions, you've made this character historical. And only you could have done it. So AJ Lacasio, thank you. Keep with your brilliant performances, not only in animated shows, but video games.
Yes.
And can't wait to hear more of you.
Yes.
Everywhere.
And
I want to say something in addition that you said that we should have said about the first 5. All those characters now are imitated in every DreamWorks show that they have. There's some version of them. And in other shows, there's some version of Pidge, Keith, Lance, Shiro, and Hunk. There's a version of them everywhere now.
Yes.
So they have definitely changed animation history with their vocal performances, bringing life to the characters and making them real. And the first time in history that a show, in every single major character, villains and heroes, has a fan base. Never has happened before and will never happen again.
Right. And to conclude, we want to point out once again, Voltron's made history in every way, shape, and form, whether by the writers, voice actors, animation, representation, fandom, everything. It changed everything on the scale, and it helped bring back action cartoons for the people who grew up with them back in the early 2000s to 2010s, who really missed that time period of shows, and has really changed the landscape altogether for streaming platforms, for cable network, for future writers, for future reboots, for everything in general in the animation industry.
So thank you, Netflix. Thank you, Studio Mir. Thank you to all the voice actors. Thank you to every animator, writer, producer. We thank you for this brilliant, beautiful representation of what animation truly can do and mean across the board and spectrum of everyone, everywhere in this entire world. So on behalf of the fan base that really loves Voltron from beginning to end, thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you for making history in a way no one expected and no one will ever do again.
Right.
We love you.
Yes.
We're not embarrassed to say that.
And this has become my favorite animated series of all time. It topped Avatar: Last Airbender. Still an awesome show, Last Airbender, but this one became my all-time favorite, especially with the final season. So
thank you for tuning in, either to just this one part or all 3. We thank you for listening. And as always, please comment and let us know your opinions on these voice actors and the history-making contribution to animation and this field. And feel free to speak. Again, as long as you can do it intelligently without being vulgar, cursing or abusive, we're happy to leave your comments and read what you have to say and let others see them. If you cross the line, we will remove the comments.
Yes. So, thank you all so much for watching. I'm Rascal Entertainments.
And I'm Mom Entertainments.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace.
And reporters sitting, flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. Met her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket, give it to you later.